So Rob, you mentioned high availability service delivery and its value to your customers. How do you define that, and what do you do to achieve that kind of standard?
Well, Anastasia, your question really gets to the heart of our business model. We look at high availability service delivery as a model, and it really starts with a superior facility and critical systems design. Specifically, the electrical, mechanical, and network systems are designed with redundancy, diversity, to provide the infrastructure with the highest reliability that we can put in place. But it really doesn't stop there. When you're talking about high availability service delivery, there's many factors that actually contribute to that. And it's really the things that are done either behind the scenes or in front of the scenes, I guess, that really contribute to that service delivery.
Right.
Things like operational process controls, change management, and then training your staff and your operational staff to actually follow the processes and procedures and eliminate or mitigate human error that could potentially cause downtime. You combine that with equipment commissioning, integrated systems testing to actually validate the design. Will the design do what you intended to do? Will it actually do the things in different modes of failure that it's expected to do? And we spend a lot of time and a lot of money not only building the data center and the infrastructure, but actually testing it to that level. Another thing that you have to put in place is a comprehensive preventative and predictive maintenance strategy.
Right.
And that's really got to cover every component in your critical systems infrastructure, from the electrical to the mechanical to the network systems. The other thing that we do, and I think we're really good at, is managing the capacity. And that means loading our UPSs to 50%, vice 100% load.
Right.
All of our equipment is designed with N+1 redundancy or better, but not infringing on those redundancies just to provide extra capacity. The other thing that we spend a lot of time integrating into the infrastructure is a very comprehensive and accurate monitoring system. We're able to monitor all of our critical components, thousands of alarm points, and really see how the data center is operating. The other thing that we really take a lot of care in is our infrastructure standards. We don't deviate from the standards we've had that we put into place 8 years ago to what we have now. When we build out additional square footage in the data center, we put in the seismic enhancements, even though Colorado is in a very low seismic zone as far as probability of a seismic event. We put all of those things in place just to pretty much mitigate the risk of a what-if scenario. One of the things that I think that we do that's different from a lot of data centers is we stay very consistent with the types of equipment that we put in place. Very rarely do we deviate from different manufacturers of equipment. We select equipment based on reliability, performance, and then cost.
So what types of processes do you have in place for preventative and predictive maintenance?
Well, there's a number of things we use for those processes. We spend a lot of money on preventive maintenance, and we do that simply so that we can take care of equipment's problems before they actually become problems.
What types of inspections do you do, and how often?
Well, let me give you an example. Our generators, for example. We inspect them weekly. We run them monthly, and then each quarter we put a full load test on them. We have an in-house load bank that allows us to do this, and by doing so we ensure that our generators are in proper operating order when an emergency arises.
Fantastic. Are there any other procedures that you follow as well?
Well, actually there are. We have a strict schedule of maintenance that we perform on all of our critical equipment. This schedule is determined by manufacturers' recommendations as well as our own internal expectations.
Great. And how does this actually benefit your customers?
Well, again, by doing the preventive maintenance, we can usually find problems with equipment before it ever becomes a problem. We run most of our critical equipment in an N+1 environment, which allows us to take one piece of equipment down without affecting the operation of our customers' equipment.
Good, good. And can you tell me a bit about the monitoring systems you have in place?
Yes, we have a monitoring system / control system that monitors and controls various points of the facility. We monitor everything from temperature and humidity throughout the facility, from power consumption and distribution all the way down to the breaker level. We monitor power distribution units and static transfer switches. We monitor all fire and life safety systems and are all reported through this monitoring system.
So what types of standards do you have in place to manage your critical systems and infrastructure?
We do a lot of things here with regard to mounting our equipment seismically. So some of the things that we do, you can see up here,
Okay.
the seismic bracing we've done with just the cooling piping and that type of thing, but we have also done that on the raised floor with our HVAC systems. And the other standards we do is we do cabling above the floor as opposed to subfloor, where some data centers cable subfloor and create subfloor obstruction so the airflow doesn't get up into the areas where they need to get into.
So tell me about the tools that you use.
We use an asset management software to track the maintenance of all our critical assets, the records of maintenance, as well as the life cycle of all these critical pieces of equipment. And therefore we maintain them using the software and scheduling, as well as the ability to look at a piece of equipment and say, okay, we need to replace or get ready to replace it prior to the end of life.